You're listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast.
217, finding purpose, helping others, trusting the path forward.
Real stories of recovery from Northern Michigan and beyond. This is episode 940, titled, That's 7 Years, Son.
That's right, 7 years, son. It's my 7 years today.
Congratulations.
7 years of not drinking alcohol. My God, let me tell you. Life's gotten a little better. I know you're going to ask next, how'd you do it, Corey? Well, we don't have enough time in the world. I'm sorry. This is just one episode. But no, I'll answer any questions if you guys have any. And of course, you got like 15 years, don't you? Now you got like 10. But no, it's pretty cool. Marty, you have 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right behind me, nipping at my tails.
Yeah.
Always chasing me.
I'll always be chasing you.
I hope so. But no, it's so crazy, though, because I was thinking the other day about how in early years and even before, you know, like when I was handcuffed to the bed at the hospital, you know, like, what did
You were handcuffed to a what?
What?
The bed.
Where?
What's
The
the story?
hospital.
When was this?
The hospital bed.
Okay.
This was 7 years ago.
Okay, well, for anybody who this is their first time tuning in, that might have sounded a little bit off-putting.
Yeah, I'm Corey Winfield, by the way, the host of this podcast. You're Marnie.
I'm Marnie Winfield.
Also my wife. And then Corey.
I'm Corey Smoker.
She's a co-host, friend, whatever. Play of 217 Recovery, person in recovery, just whatever. Okay, so that's us. So that's a reset. So now you want me to reset it again?
No,
Someone
it's just
listening for the first time.
Corey Winfield, who's the ultimate person who like reads between the lines. And you're like, so back when I was handcuffed to the bed, like no story, nothing surrounding that statement. It just might sounded a little bit.
Sorry.
So we were just calling one of yours out that you do to us.
Yeah, all the time.
I still have writer brain.
You would have gotten like this weird devilish like smirk on his face and like, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say anything.
No, my life now is in writer brain. It's in script. So if that part of the script is already back there, I already look at it as already read.
Well, we're now editing in it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, back 7 years ago, I was taken to jail, or not to jail. He tried taking me to jail, and he realized I was too drunk because 0.45 some is insane, and well, not really insane for me. I was like, all right, cool. That was actually what it took to make me stop shaking because I had to go buy a fifth. Jesus, I'm horrible at this telling story thing. So I know that was funny. So I had to buy a half gallon, and I drank half of it, which would equal a fifth, to get my shakes down. So when he gave me a breathalyzer because I wasn't supposed to be drinking because I was out of jail and waiting for my court date and all that. And the judge said, "Don't you be drinking, son." And I said, "Yeah, whatever, okay." Got home, half gallon sitting on the counter, started drinking. I don't remember much. Anyway.
Can I ask, when the cop is giving you the sobriety test, are you in recollection of what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. I was sitting on my bed when he gave me the breathalyzer. Because see, what happened was when I was sentenced for my drunk driving, I was in jail for like a week, and then they did my arraignment in there, and they told me, hey, we're going to let you out, whatever, but like don't drink or anything. Okay, sure. I walked back into my apartment. There's a half gallon sitting there. Of course, I start drinking it. I don't remember much after that. But no, I woke up the next morning, or not next morning, it was days later, but I was shaking so bad that I know I needed to go get more. And my mom had called me and she's like, don't get more. And I'm like, no, I have to. So I went and got more, and it was a half gallon, and I drank half of that, which is roughly a fifth. So that's what it took for me to just kind of calm down. So when he came in to give me the breathalyzer, it was like 0.456, whatever. And he was just kind of like, whoa. And I was like, no, dude, like this is like, now I feel normal. Like, and that's crazy to think that it takes that much to just make you feel normal. You know, like that's nuts.
Why did he come in to give you the breathalyzer?
Because when my mom was like, oh, you're drinking, you're not supposed to be drinking because your liver, because she was like very concerned about that, which, you know, I should have been too, because I had liver failure when I was 36 back in 2015. And so she called the ambulance.
Okay.
The ambulance is the way people word it.
Mm-hmm.
If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. So the cops heard it and was like, Mr. Winfield, not supposed to be drinking. We're going to go over there too because, well, the ambulance is called, so we got to go show up anyway. And then they were just like knocking on the door, and I wouldn't let them in. And my mom at one point was like, I don't want your cat to eat you when you drink yourself to death, so give me a key. So I was like, okay. And then, too, that, I was depending on her. So like if I didn't give her the key when my lights were going to get shut off at some point, I knew that was, like something was going to happen like that. And I'm going to need her on my side. So I didn't really want to poke the bear, just, okay, whatever. And that is kind of some codependent behavior, obviously. But when I was in treatment the last time, I read a book about it and I started figuring it out. But yeah, so I remember that. And then the cop driving me over as he filled out some report, which I was assuming would be fake. And he just made me sit in the back for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, which felt like 18 days. And it was hot. And it was just horrible. It wasn't fun. Like, it was just, ugh. I hurt.
You just had to stay in the back of a cop car for that long?
Yeah. And then he took me to the hospital because they couldn't take me to the jail with such a high blood alcohol. And that's when they, brought me in there and they handcuffed me to the bed. And then this other woman cop came in and she sat with it for a while. And then the doctor came in and was just like, well, what are you waiting here for? And she's like, well, we got to take him to jail. And she's like, well, what happened? And he's like, oh, he was out and he was asleep drinking. And so she's like, okay, well, it's going to be a long time before the alcohol's out of the system enough for you to take him to jail, So the officer was like, all right, he's got a court date coming up. They'll see him soon. So we'll just cut him loose. So that's kind of where that went. I don't remember why we started talking about me being handcuffed to a bed, but that's where I was. Life's gotten better, I guess. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're 7 years sober today.
Yeah. Who would have thought? But yeah, thinking back to the very beginning, like, I never would have thought this was possible. Like it's crazy and it's scary. And that's probably one of the hardest things about being in recovery, and I'm using air quotes there, is because it's about change. You have to change your life. You have to change the things that you're doing and the people that you're around. And I was writing some stuff earlier about that and about change and how people in your life do change. And that necessarily isn't a bad thing. And it doesn't mean that they're bad people. And I was thinking about examples for like, there are good people that I know from my past that were really good examples for me that I just don't talk to anymore. And it's not because I don't like them or, like I said, because they're bad people or anything. It's just because my life has taken me here. My sobriety, my life, me choosing my life and moving forward in my life has me here today, or I have new friends and new people. So I don't have to always look back at those people in those times and think, oh, man, I don't talk to them anymore. It must be because I'm sober. No, it's just because it's life. Life changes. When you have kids, you change. When you have grandkids, you change. And your life changes and things you do changes. And when you stop drinking, your life changes and the people change. And if you still want to keep hanging out with those people, you can. But I'm telling you, it's just different. Mm-hmm. The things you want in life, you start wanting things in life. You start achieving things in life again. Or maybe for the first time ever. And it's just, it's an amazing thing, though. It really is to be on this side of it and to think that there was a time where I thought it was impossible. It will happen for you, Corey Smoker. It'll happen for you, Marnie Winfield, listing at that time. Mm-hmm. It would happen for everybody but me. It's not going to happen for me. I will never win the lottery. I'll never fall in love and get married and have a kid. It'll never happen. It's the same thinking of, oh, I'll never be an alcoholic. That'll never happen to me. And then it like flips, but in a really tragic, sad way.
So when did it start feeling like things could be different? Like it was possible for things to be different? Those things that you thought never, ever could happen. When was it like these potentially could be part of my world?
I don't know. I just started with one goal and just kind of kept that going and just kept adding to it. And I like pushing myself. I like to achieve things. So like to say that, yeah, I'm going to start a podcast and then do that. And then just like, man, we talked about the treatment thing, and man, everybody does need a ride. And I don't know, we started kind of moving in that direction with, first we were thinking we would take people to meetings and stuff like that. And then with COVID and everything shutting down, which I was never a huge fan of just putting someone on a bus anyway to get to treatment. I mean, just think about that. That's horrible. Why is that horrible, Corey? Go to a bus stop. Why don't you go on just a little bus trip next time you're going to go somewhere? Just take the bus. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's all I got to say. Just trust me, okay? It's not a good idea. So we started taking people to and from treatment, and that was another thing, And then it's like, okay, cool. Well, now what's next? And, we have this place. The 217 Recovery Center. And then it's like, oh, I want to run a movie. So like pushing myself forward. But yeah, I don't know exactly when I thought it was all possible because I'm still, if we're looking at it like a hill, you know how they say, hey, over the hill when you're 50 years old, which I think that it's now 80, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Good, because I'm 47 and I don't want to be up there. So if I was on that hill, on my path of things I want to accomplish in life, I'm like a third of the way up it. Mm-hmm. Not coming back down, but heading up. Like, that's where I feel like. So, like, people are always like, oh, you're doing good. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. But I don't know.
See, but that's where and I'm not saying it's not good to keep coming up with more goals. And that's amazing. That's good. We all should do that in a way. But also, too, is being present and appreciative and recognizing things that you have done and just being able to live in that moment and not being like with the but. Like, look at what I've done, but, because then it's always like you're not really taking in and giving yourself credit and actually, like, memorializing your accomplishments. You're always planning for what's next. And it's this gray area. There's this weird, it's not like being one or the other, And it is essentially, and what I'm hearing too is the same thing that I experienced, at least, and probably the same for you, Corey, is like, it's not like these like monumental spots in our lives. I mean, sometimes it can be that where we actually reflect on how far we've come, but it's like this daily one foot in front of the other. And, and obviously there's detours and shit happens to us. And, we have disappointments and we have letdowns and we have, pain and suffering and all that stuff in between. But none of it is related to alcohol or drug use, at least. We can say that.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that being said, is we're actually able to handle those moments, I think, at least for me, because I'm clean and sober. And the clarity that you have on what is the next thing that I can do or what is the next goal that I can achieve or what is something else that I want to be part of my life. All of those have become possibilities because, once again, we're living clean and sober.
But how do you tell somebody who may have admitted to another person, whoever, hey, I know I have a problem, but I'm just going to control it? But then you have people reaching out for you because that question was kind of asked to me, and it's just like,
that's how has that worked out for you in the past? The same questions that were asked.
Like, how are they asking for help? Like, I don't understand, because if they're asking for money, are you a bank? Like, it's their house, it's their living situation. If they're still drinking on the weekend but still need money for rent and still need helped out with the electric bill or stuff like that, then I think you're being taken advantage of. Now, I'm not saying you need to manage these people's money or stuff like that, but you got to kind of step back and go, okay, is this really helping this person? But I don't want to see them thrown out on the streets and this and that. And I don't know where that comes. And I guess that's where the question is that when it's time to call the intervention team? I think there's one in town. Just kind of kidding. It's a guy that says
I don't know. I guess I would just say can we set a goal of how you could achieve to maybe get some extra income to pay your rent? Have you communicated with your landlord? Do you have some money you can go and pay them? And then, with the plan of like, in 2 weeks, I can give you this, and another 2 weeks, I can do this. Or I just can't be quick to like enable them as I want to do. In a situation, or I want to put on my cape and save everybody.
Mm.
It's hard, but I have to find a different way of a solution of how I can still maybe help them, but I can't push them into the recovery part, and I can't push them in to back them into a corner of an intervention either. Because sometimes I think, you do an intervention on someone, what's the ending goal of that?
They hate you. They resent you.
Well, it's interesting because my mom inquired about that a while ago. Not for herself. She said that her therapist, her own therapist, who I'm not going to obviously name any names, but
Sarah.
No.
Sarah has been.
No, yeah. So my mom meets with a mental health professional, and her obviously knows about what, her all the parts of my mom and her family and so on. And so, like, she knew that I was her daughter who struggled with substance use disorder and am now in this position of being a clinical therapist. And I work, with this amazing nonprofit, so on and so forth. Well, she has another client who wanted an intervention. So she asked my mom, does your daughter's company or organization, do they do interventions? There's air quotes. Do they do interventions? Right. So I said, and my response was first is like, there's a lot of questions that I had about this client, but in general is that, I personally feel, and this is where I said, this is like, do you want my clinical opinion or do you want like my personal / clinical opinion? Because those are like two little bit different things. Oh, because I personally feel that interventions, are outdated. Just the whole philosophy of what they are is just, it seems, but if you really break down what an intervention is, okay, so how you present this intervention, right? What does that entail? If you look it up, what the old definition was, it's basically a group of people coming together to address to an individual who's struggling with some sort of addiction, to put it in front of them, to let them know how much they care about them, right? So the foundation of it is great. Like, it lives in a very positive place. But the problem is that you also realize that when you're addressing with someone who's in active addiction, whether it's they're active in their gambling, they're active in their drug use, they're active in their alcoholism, whatever it is, like, they're not in a good headspace. And so no matter how much you love them or care about them, getting everybody together to basically blindside, right? Because they don't know that these things are happening 9 times out of 10. And we just wanted, because they feel like there's no other way to get the person in the room to give them this information. They probably already know how much they're loved. They probably do, but they're just not ready to address their addiction.
And before you go any further, we should probably address this, because if you're listening for the first time, you probably don't understand, but this isn't just somebody we grabbed off the street. This is a LMSW licensed person.
Master social. Okay, yeah. So
with the CAADC.
Oh, you guys.
Her name as well. So big congratulations
that's a big
to
accomplishment.
Marnie.
2 of them.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's been,
she can't take any more tests for a while.
It's been a journey on my own self-improvement. Yes, that has continued. But credentials are great. I do what I do because I've been through it, right? So, I think that's true for all of us. But, no, I don't know. I don't know what your guys' experience is with interventions. I had my own that my mom set up for me. And there was like 10 people there at my aunt's house, and they told me that my grandma wanted to give me some artwork she had done. So would I come and meet them at my aunt's cottage so she could give me this artwork that she has had? And I got there, and like all my siblings were there, and like
all of them. When was this then?
Oh man.
Like they had to fly home for it, or was it just like, hey, they were here at Christmas? They're like, hey, let's just do this intervention too.
Yeah, I guess they flew.
Here real quick.
I guess they flew home. My sister wasn't there. My half sister was pretty young, and then my sister didn't make it. But it was like my aunt and my grandma and my brother and his wife and my cousins were there, which was odd because they don't really know me. They didn't really. They're older than me, so they're like adults, but they kind of didn't really know what to say. And then my grandma, who was like, has had my father, her son, who was an active alcoholic for basically his whole adulthood, which means really my my childhood and young adulthood. And so she had a lot to say, but she's a very blunt lady. In as much as love, air quotes, love that I was supposed to feel, you still feel attacked.
Well, yeah.
You feel attacked and
you're lied, you're blindsided.
Right.
And now everyone is here. And it's like putting the spotlight on you. Like, come on, like I'm not already feeling some sort of way, low self-esteem, ashamed, guilt. And now it's just putting it on blast. And
the other part too is maybe there is a way it can be done in a more professional way. If people are like, we really do need to we want to relay this messaging to our loved one, but we don't know how to do it. There possibly could be a way to plan an intervention, but they need to be invited to it. In my opinion, they would need to be invited to it and know that it's happening and show up on their own free will. Like that is the only way I think it would be effective. And if you created an intervention strategy where it was like, this is what we're going to talk about, like it's not scripted, but like these are the things, and you can't come up with ultimatums. Like this is not the place where it's like the or else situation. Because lots of times the messaging of loved ones can sound effed up. As much as they like are doing it with love, it sounds A, like an attack, B, like it's like, the only way that we will ever be part of our life again is if you fill in the blank. And then they come up with stuff that they're not even qualified to even like talk about. They don't know about treatment. They don't know about detox. They don't know about why you're drinking as much as you're drinking. All of those pieces. And so I'm not like they're amateurs, but it's like they're not
ass, Earl.
They're not familiar with like addiction in general. And plus our frontal lobes aren't functioning properly because we're under the influence.
Drink on
probably
Friday.
At that moment. And all we're thinking right there is, oh my God, I want to get so messed up after this.
Yeah. I mean, to me, an intervention is just, it's like setting up the family too for like these false pretenses.
Yeah, I'll be here to help you. Wait, what? They call you and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Or you're setting up expectations that you can't even meet clearly. Like, now you need to go to treatment today. Well, guess what? Now you're the type of insurance you have, like there's all these factors of these things that can play in too.
Yeah.
And it's, instead of it gets skewed to you're now expecting this person to do something to make it better for you.
Yeah. And in a way. And depending on the person is you might be putting them in a room that they already feel some kind of way about the person who's struggling because of whatever actions they've done or not done or, behaviors that they've presented. So they're not coming in with 100% wrapping their arms around them. There's some anger there already. Yeah. There's some distrust. There's some, all of those pieces. And those are going to surface no matter what, right? They're human beings. So, I mean, ultimately, like I said, I'm sure that there are still intervention specialists that you can find on the internet that you can contact and say, will you please help our family schedule an intervention with our whatever. But I mean, to each their own. It's just, that's my take on the topic.
But if someone has the characteristics or personality or whatever you want to call it of being shamed into things, then that could probably work. Right? Well, like, I'm sure there's some people who just get shamed right into it and that works for them. Am I right?
Isn't that kind of what the whole judicial system is doing?
Yeah.
Like you have to do this and this and this and this and this and not do this and this and this and this and this. And then you'll make it and you'll be in our good graces.
I don't know, man.
You get less jail time.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't even get me started on that stuff. I'm trying to have a good day.
Well, but there are people that will go through drug court or whatever, and the people that actually stay sober after that, if you ask them, and they'll say it's because I was in drug court, but I think it's because they were given the time, they were required to take the time to actually look into why it is that I drink like I drink or why it is that I drug like I drug. And they actually address that and actually decided to take it on themselves and say, I recognize this is a problem and I do want to change. And they actually have the opportunity to stay sober and clear-minded enough to actually wade through all of that.
Did you have an intervention, Corey?
No.
Obviously.
I woke up in jail.
I know.
Well, I came to in jail.
Well, I had interventions before because, I mean, we didn't stop at our intervention. We just pushed right through that.
Oh,
we just laughed and see you later. We know who's on my side. You know, but like mine, it was kind of at the end, but it was like my brother, sister, and all them. And it was just like, yeah, I know. And they're just like, you know, it hurts us when you drink. And I'm like, yeah, you're not going to come see your nephews if you drink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
they didn't buy me alcohol, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
My grandma would just tell me when she picked me up, she's like, you know, I don't like this. Or when I come in the house and she goes like, oh, in that whiskey. And she just say, but she wasn't like mean about it.
That's going to be a drop.
She wasn't mean about it. She was just like, you know, you're such a pretty girl and you work hard. You don't need to be doing that. It doesn't smell good on you.
That sounds so like a grandma response. That was
hit her back with, well, maybe if you'd have raised your kids a little better, Grams.
No.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? I call my grandma. It didn't matter what time of night, time of day, whatever. She answered. She showed up when she said she was going to show up, and she helped however she could, best way possible.
Because she felt bad.
well.
I don't
No,
know.
I don't know.
because
She
she
just
loves
loved me.
She loved her. That's what.
Obviously.
And that is one thing that I'm glad I got, that my grandma and even my grandpa, he passed away when I was 10 months sober, that I got to show them that I was doing this thing.
That's great.
And my grandpa used to, that stupid blow machine, they don't need to send you home with that dumb thing. But of course, I took it to extreme level. So, you know, it's in that case. And I named him Patrick, and I put one huge, big old googly eye on the front of his case. And, oh, Patrick's calling my name.
So what happens if you miss one of those?
Well, they suggest that you go to the testing center and you take an
ETG.
ETG, the P test. If it's in the morning or any time that you can't get to the testing center right away, they suggest that you go to the nearest police department and blow and have them document it, and then you'll have to deal with the probation officer later.
Okay. Just wondering. Somebody asked me the other day about it.
And
I was like, I'm pretty sure they're not going to use our blow machine that we have in a closet somewhere, like as an official.
That we got at Kohl's.
A record of, he's good.
most likely they make you do the ETG test because that will detect the alcohol.
And probably at a place that does that.
Yeah.
Not just some
New
cool people here at
Directions
217 Recovery. I mean, we are cool people, but okay. Just wondering.
The blowing at the police department, I had to do that.
What?
Yeah. Like go get a PBT machine.
Uh-oh.
Or a PBT done at the police department. That was more for the Secretary of State. And that would piss me off even more because I did 8 rolling tests from Lake Ann to Traverse City and blew clean, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
Never again.
nope.
Never again.
That
And
keeps-
you have control
That's a
of that
driving
today.
factor of why I choose not to drink today.
Well, good job. Well, thanks for being around. And I wanted to show you guys, I don't know if I see this every morning, but now that the snow out our window here at the office, like it was like a animal murder out there last night. There's some like vermin out there, but you'll see. I want you guys, as we finish the podcast, to get up and look out there and see the tracks.
There
and
was
the
a murder
trails.
scene out there?
Yep. There's like a little hole too. You can see where they buried his little body
Aww.
or something. I don't know what's out there here in Traverse City, man. That's the real problem now. Unhoused? Nah. Gas prices? Nah. Whatever this creature is. I think it's following me from Boyne City. If you want to go back in the app and listen to that podcast, that was a good one. Don't remember what it's called, but go search for it. Anyway, Marnie's not impressed. So we are out. Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. There are more episodes, like I said, on our app, and we'll talk soon.
Congratulations on 7 years.
Thanks. Congratulations on passing your test.
Thank you.
Happy 7 years.
Congratulations too, Corey.